street kid shouts, "You're my dad," to Millionaire CEO. Then he sees the mother and freezes. Julian Vance was a man who embodied success. His name graced the covers of financial magazines. His face was a familiar sight at high-profile charity events, and his penthouse apartment overlooked the city like a king surveying his domain. As the founder and CEO of Vance Technologies, a global leader in renewable energy, Julian exuded an aura of power and confidence. His life was a meticulously planned symphony of board meetings, power lunches, and strategic acquisitions. He thrived on the thrill of the deal, the satisfaction of outmaneuvering his competitors, and the constant pursuit of innovation. But beneath the polished exterior, Julian harbored a deep-seated insecurity, a fear of vulnerability that stemmed from a childhood marked by poverty and neglect. He had clawed his way to the top, driven by a relentless ambition to prove himself, to escape the shadow of his past. Emotions, in his view, were weaknesses, distractions that threatened to derail his carefully constructed life. He kept his personal life tightly guarded, his relationships fleeting and superficial, his heart shielded behind a wall of indifference. One blustery afternoon, as Julian strode purposefully through the bustling city streets, a voice pierced through the cacophony of urban noise. "Hey, mister, my mom said you're my dad." The voice belonged to a scrawny boy, no older than 12, with tousled brown hair and eyes that held a startling familiarity. He was dressed in worn clothes, his face smudged with dirt, a stark contrast to the impeccably dressed businessman. Julian, momentarily thrown off balance, dismissed the boy with a curt wave, attributing the outburst to a childish prank. But the boy persisted, weaving through the throng of pedestrians, his voice growing louder, more insistent. "She said your name is Julian Vance. She said you used to know her. A long time ago." Julian stopped, his gaze hardening. He examined the boy more closely, a flicker of recognition igniting in the depths of his memory. Those eyes, they were the mirror image of Elena's, a woman he had loved with a fiery passion during his university years, a woman he had abruptly left behind, a casualty of his ambition and his fear of commitment. "What's your mother's name?" he asked, his voice a low growl. "Elena," the boy replied, a defiant grin spreading across his face. "Elena Ramirez." The world seemed to tilt on its axis. Julian's carefully constructed facade crumbled, replaced by a wave of disbelief and a chilling premonition. Elena, after all these years, the past, it seemed, had a way of catching up, even with a man like Julian Vance. The boy, who introduced himself as Matteo, led Julian to a dilapidated apartment building in a less affluent part of the city. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if he were walking towards a reckoning he had long avoided. He found Elena in a sparsely furnished apartment, her face etched with the hardships of life, yet still bearing traces of the vibrant beauty he remembered. The years had not been kind to her. Her once bright eyes were now clouded with weariness, her smile tinged with sadness. But when she saw Julian, a flicker of something akin to hope ignited in their depths. It was a look that both terrified and captivated him. The initial shock gave way to a torrent of emotions, disbelief, anger, and a deep-seated fear that threatened to overwhelm him. He had spent years burying the past, convincing himself that his choices had been necessary, that he had done what he had to do to achieve his goals. Now, confronted with the consequences of his actions, he felt a profound sense of unease. Elena explained that she had never intended to contact him, but Matteo, growing increasingly curious about his absent father, had taken matters into his own hands. She spoke of the struggles she had faced as a single mother, the sacrifices she had made to provide for her son. There was no accusation in her voice, only a quiet dignity that made Julian squirm with guilt. He looked at Matteo, who was watching him with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The boy bore an uncanny resemblance to Julian at that age. The same tousled hair, the same determined set to his jaw. He saw in Matteo a reflection of the man he could have been, the man he had suppressed in his relentless pursuit of success. The encounter left Julian reeling. He returned to his penthouse, the luxurious surroundings suddenly feeling sterile and empty. The silence was deafening, broken only by the echo of Mateo's voice. "My mom said you're my dad." He couldn't escape the truth. Mateo was his son. Part of him that he had denied, a responsibility he had shirked. The realization hit him with the force of a physical blow, shattering the illusion of control he had so carefully cultivated. He spent the following days in a state of turmoil, grappling with the implications of this newfound knowledge. His well-ordered life was in chaos, his thoughts consumed by the ghost of his past and the unexpected burden of fatherhood. He found himself drawn to the window, gazing down at the city below, searching for answers in the labyrinth of streets. One evening, driven by an impulse he couldn't quite explain, he found himself back in front of Elena's apartment building. He watched as Mateo played soccer in the small courtyard with a group of other children, his laughter echoing in the twilight. There was a lightness in the boy's movements, a carefree spirit that Julian envied. He knew he couldn't ignore this situation any longer. He had a decision to make, one that would irrevocably alter the course of his life. Unable to shake the feeling of responsibility towards Mateo, Julian started making tentative attempts to connect with his son. He would show up at the park, where Mateo played, initially just observing from a distance, a silent observer of the boy's life. He saw the spark of joy in Mateo's eyes when he scored a goal, the way he fiercely defended a smaller boy from a bully, the quiet moments of introspection as he sat by himself, sketching in a worn notebook. With each passing day, the guilt gnawed at him, a constant reminder of the years he had missed. He saw in Mateo the childhood he himself had been denied, a childhood spent navigating the harsh realities of poverty and neglect. He realized that his own privileged upbringing, despite its emotional shortcomings, had shielded him from the kind of struggles Mateo faced daily. Driven by a desire to make amends, Julian started leaving small gifts for Mateo, a new soccer ball, a set of drawing pencils, a book about the constellations, a subject he knew the boy was fascinated with. He would leave them by the door of their apartment, anonymously, hoping to bring a spark of joy into Mateo's life. One day, he gathered the courage to approach Mateo directly. He introduced himself not as a father, but as a friend, a mentor. Mateo, initially wary, gradually warmed up to Julian, drawn to his quiet strength and the fascinating stories he told about the world of technology and innovation. Julian discovered that Mateo was a bright, inquisitive boy, with a thirst for knowledge and a creative spirit that reminded him of Elena. He saw in Mateo a potential that deserved to be nurtured, a chance to make a difference in the boy's life. As he spent more time with Mateo, Julian began to see the world through his son's eyes. He saw the beauty in simple things, a shared ice cream cone, a trip to the planetarium, a quiet evening reading stories together. He began to appreciate the value of human connection, the importance of empathy and compassion, qualities he had long suppressed in his pursuit of success. He also learned more about Elena's life, the struggles she had faced, the resilience she had shown in raising Mateo on her own. He saw the toll that his abandonment had taken on her, the pain that still lingered in her eyes. He realized that his actions had not only affected him and Mateo, but had deeply wounded the woman he had once loved. This revelation was a turning point for Julian. He saw his past mistakes with a clarity he had never had before, and he knew he had to do everything in his power to make things right. He was no longer just a businessman, a CEO, a symbol of success. He was a father, a man with a responsibility to his son, a man determined to make amends for the past. Julian decided to reveal his true identity to Mateo. He chose a quiet afternoon in the park, a familiar setting where they had spent many hours together. He confessed his past mistakes, his regret for not being there for Mateo and Elena. He explained his fear of fatherhood, his inability to confront his own emotions, and the misguided ambition that had driven him away. Mateo was initially shocked, then angry. He couldn't understand why Julian had abandoned him, why he had remained a stranger for so many years. He felt betrayed, hurt, and confused. Why had this man, who seemed so kind and caring, chosen to stay away for so long? Julian listened patiently, allowing Matteo to express his emotions. He didn't try to justify his actions, but he expressed his sincere remorse and his desire to be a part of Matteo's life. He promised to be there for him, to support him, to be the father he had never had. Elena, who had been observing the scene from a distance, joined them. She confirmed Julian's story, adding her own perspective on the past. She spoke of her love for Julian, her pain at his departure, and her struggle to raise Matteo on her own. She also acknowledged Julian's sincerity and his willingness to make amends, a glimmer of hope shining through the years of hurt. Matteo, caught between anger and a yearning for a father figure, was torn. He saw the genuine remorse in Julian's eyes, the pleading for a second chance. He also saw the love and respect in Elena's gaze, a silent encouragement to give Julian a chance. After a long silence, Matteo finally spoke. He didn't offer forgiveness, but he agreed to give Julian a chance to prove himself. He set conditions: honesty, consistency, and a genuine effort to be a part of his life, not just with fleeting visits and extravagant gifts, but with genuine presence and emotional availability. Julian accepted the conditions without hesitation. He knew it would take time to earn Matteo's trust and forgiveness, but he was determined to make it work. He started spending more time with Matteo, taking him to school, helping him with his homework, attending his soccer games. He made an effort to be present, to be involved, to be the father Matteo deserved, a father who was not just a provider but a confidant and a friend. However, Julian's decision had unforeseen consequences. His sudden involvement in Matteo's life raised eyebrows in his social circles. Rumors spread, whispers of a secret love child, a scandalous past that threatened to tarnish his carefully crafted image. Business associates questioned his judgment, concerned that his personal life would interfere with his work, that his newfound emotional vulnerability would make him a less ruthless, less effective leader. Investors expressed doubts, fearing that his newfound responsibilities would distract him from his business goals, that his focus would shift from maximizing profits to nurturing a family. The share price of Vance Technologies took a hit, a reflection of the market's uncertainty, a tangible consequence of Julian's decision to embrace his past. Julian faced a dilemma. He could retreat back into his world of business, prioritizing his career over his newfound family, silencing the whispers and reassuring his investors by distancing himself from the complication of a son. Or he could stand firm, face the scrutiny, and embrace his role as a father, even if it meant jeopardizing his empire, risking the very foundation of the success he had worked so hard to achieve. While Julian navigated the complexities of his newfound fatherhood, Elena was facing her own challenges. The sudden reappearance of Julian in her life had stirred up a whirlwind of emotions. Old feelings of love and hurt resurfaced, creating a conflict within her. She had built a life for herself and Matteo, a life that, while challenging, was theirs. Now, with Julian's presence, that stability felt threatened, the familiar rhythm of their lives disrupted by the intrusion of a man who had once been the center of her world, a man who had left her with a broken heart and a growing child. She observed Julian's interactions with Matteo, his genuine efforts to connect with his son. She saw the positive impact he was having on Matteo, the way the boy's eyes lit up when Julian entered the room, the way his laughter filled the small apartment with a joy she had almost forgotten. A part of her, the part that had never stopped loving Julian, yearned for a reconciliation, for a chance to rebuild what they had lost, to create the family they had once dreamed of. However, another part of her, hardened by years of struggle and disappointment, was hesitant. She remembered the pain of his abandonment, the years of loneliness and uncertainty, the nights spent wondering how he could so easily walk away from the life they had created, from the promise they had shared. She feared that opening her heart again would only lead to more heartbreak, that Julian would once again choose ambition over love, leaving her and Matteo to pick up the pieces. Adding to her dilemma was the attention that Julian's presence brought into their lives. The media, always hungry for a sensational story, caught wind of the millionaire with a secret son. Reporters camped outside their apartment building. Paparazzi followed them on their outings, their every move documented and dissected in the tabloids. This intrusion into their privacy was unsettling, especially for Matteo, who was struggling to adjust to the sudden changes in his life, to the realization that his father was not just a man, but a public figure, a symbol of wealth and success. Elena found herself caught between her desire for a stable, private life and the possibility of a future with Julian. She had to decide whether to embrace this unexpected turn of events, to risk her heart and her son's well-being for a chance at happiness, or to protect herself and Matteo from further upheaval, to maintain the fragile equilibrium they had created in Julian's absence. Meanwhile, Julian, oblivious to Elena's internal conflict, was focused on building a relationship with Matteo. He was determined to prove himself as a father, to make up for the lost years, to fill the void he had left in his son's life. He involved Matteo in his work, taking him to the Vance Technologies headquarters, introducing him to the world of renewable energy and technological innovation, hoping to spark a passion in his son that mirrored his own. He saw in Matteo a spark of his own ambition, a curiosity and drive that resonated with his own relentless pursuit of knowledge and progress. He started mentoring Matteo, sharing his knowledge and experience, hoping to inspire him to pursue his dreams, to reach for the stars and make a difference in the world. This mentorship not only strengthened their bond but also gave Julian a new perspective on his work. He realized that his company, his success, was not just about profits and market share, but about creating something meaningful, something that could inspire and empower the next generation, including his own son. As the weeks turned into months, Julian's relationship with Matteo blossomed. They developed a comfortable routine, filled with shared meals, homework sessions, and weekend adventures. Julian discovered a playful side to himself, a side he had long suppressed beneath the weight of responsibility and the relentless pursuit of success. He found himself engaging in impromptu snowball fights with Matteo, building elaborate Lego creations, and spending hours discussing the intricacies of superhero universes and the mysteries of the cosmos. He also made a conscious effort to be present in Matteo's life, attending his school events, cheering him on at his soccer games, and celebrating his achievements, big and small. He learned to listen to Matteo, to understand his fears and aspirations, to be the supportive father figure he had never had, a father who not only provided but also nurtured and encouraged. Matteo, in turn, began to open up to Julian. He shared his dreams of becoming an astronaut, his fascination with the stars, his anxieties about fitting in at school, his fears of being different, of not measuring up to the expectations that came with being the son of Julian Vance. He started seeing Julian not just as a father, but as a confidant, a mentor, a friend, a source of wisdom and support in a world that often felt confusing and overwhelming. The initial anger and resentment gradually faded, replaced by a growing sense of trust and affection. He started calling Julian Dad, a word that initially felt awkward and unfamiliar, but soon became a natural expression of their bond, a symbol of the love and acceptance that had blossomed between them. Julian's relationship with Elena also evolved. They started spending more time together, initially for Matteo's sake, but gradually rediscovering the connection they had once shared, the spark that had ignited their youthful passion. They talked about their lives, their struggles, their regrets, the years they had spent apart, the paths they had taken, and the choices that had led them to this unexpected reunion. They shared laughter and tears, rebuilding a bridge of understanding and forgiveness, rekindling the embers of a love that had never truly died. Elena saw the changes in Julian, the softening of his edges, the vulnerability he now allowed himself to show. She saw the love in his eyes when he looked at Matteo, the genuine desire to be a good father, to make amends for the past, to be present in the present, and to build a future together. She began to let go of her past hurts, allowing herself to hope for a future with Julian, a future where love and family would triumph over ambition and regret. One evening, as they sat on the floor of Matteo's room, surrounded by Lego creations and astronomy books, Julian confessed his love for Elena. He admitted his mistakes, his regret for leaving her, his gratitude for the gift of Matteo, a gift he had almost thrown away in his blind pursuit of success. Elena, tears glistening in her eyes, admitted that she had never stopped loving him, that his memory had been a constant presence in her life, a source of both pain and hope. They embraced, a silent promise of a second chance, a future built on love, forgiveness, and a shared commitment to their son. Their relationship, however, was not without its challenges. The media scrutiny continued, casting a shadow over their lives, a constant reminder of Julian's public persona and the insatiable hunger of the tabloids. Julian's business associates remained skeptical, questioning his priorities, concerned that his newfound emotional vulnerability would make him a less effective leader. And there was the lingering fear that their past mistakes could resurface, that the ghosts of their past would return to haunt them, threatening their newfound happiness. Commitment to each other. They learned to navigate the complexities of their blended family, finding a balance between their individual needs and their shared responsibilities, creating a space where love and understanding could flourish amidst the chaos of their newfound reality. The annual Vance Technologies Summer Picnic was a tradition, a chance for employees and their families to relax and connect outside the confines of the corporate world. This year, however, the atmosphere was charged with a different kind of energy. Julian had decided to introduce Matteo to his colleagues, a subtle but significant step towards integrating his son into his life. The picnic was held at a sprawling park, with lush green lawns, picnic blankets scattered under the shade of ancient trees, and the cheerful sounds of children's laughter filling the air. Julian, dressed casually in jeans and a polo shirt, felt a sense of ease he rarely experienced in his usual corporate attire. He watched as Matteo, his face lit up with excitement, ran around with a group of children, his laughter echoing through the park. He had been hesitant about bringing Matteo to the picnic, aware of the curious glances and whispered speculations that would inevitably follow. But he had also realized that hiding Matteo, keeping him separate from his work life, was not a sustainable solution. He wanted his colleagues to see Matteo, to accept him as part of his life, to understand the transformation he was undergoing. As lunchtime approached, Julian gathered his colleagues and their families around a large picnic table. He introduced Matteo, his voice filled with pride, and explained that Matteo was his son. A wave of surprised murmurs rippled through the group, followed by a chorus of congratulations and warm welcomes. Matteo, initially shy, gradually warmed up to the friendly faces and playful banter. He shared his passion for astronomy, his dreams of becoming an astronaut, and his excitement about the upcoming launch of a new space telescope. Julian watched with a mixture of pride and gratitude, his heart swelling with a love he had never thought possible. However, the peaceful atmosphere was shattered when a reporter, who had somehow managed to infiltrate the picnic, approached Julian with a microphone and a camera crew in tow. The reporter, known for his aggressive tactics and penchant for sensationalism, bombarded Julian with questions about his past, his relationship with Elena, and his motives for acknowledging Matteo. Julian, caught off guard, felt a surge of anger and protectiveness towards Matteo. He tried to deflect the questions, but the reporter persisted, pushing for a dramatic response, hoping to capture a moment of conflict or vulnerability. Matteo, sensing the tension, clung to Julian's side, his eyes wide with anxiety. Julian, realizing that the situation was escalating, took a deep breath and made a decision. He gently pushed Matteo behind him, shielding him from the intrusive camera lens and the reporter's relentless questioning. "This is a private event," he stated firmly, his voice laced with authority. "My son and I deserve to enjoy this day without harassment. Please respect our privacy and leave." The reporter, momentarily taken aback by Julian's assertive stance, hesitated. But the camera crew, eager for a story, continued to film, capturing the tense standoff. Julian, his patience wearing thin, turned to his colleagues, his gaze sweeping over their faces. "I apologize for this interruption," he said, his voice regaining its composure. "Let's continue our picnic and enjoy the rest of the day." His colleagues, sensing his resolve, nodded in agreement, their expressions a mixture of support and admiration. The reporter, realizing that he was outnumbered and outmaneuvered, reluctantly retreated, his camera crew trailing behind him. The incident, though unsettling, served as a catalyst. Julian's colleagues, witnessing his unwavering commitment to Matteo, rallied around him, offering their support and understanding. They saw a different side of Julian, a man who was not just a brilliant CEO, but also a loving father, a man who was willing to stand up for his family, even in the face of public scrutiny. The picnic continued, the cheerful atmosphere restored, but the incident left a lasting impact. Julian realized that he could no longer compartmentalize his life, that his personal and professional worlds were intertwined. He had to find a way to integrate Matteo into his life fully, to create a space where both his son and his career could thrive. The picnic incident became a turning point. Julian, emboldened by the support of his colleagues, decided to take a more proactive approach to managing the media attention surrounding his family. He hired a public relations firm to help him craft a narrative that emphasized his commitment to Matteo and his desire to protect his son's privacy. He also began to selectively grant interviews, choosing journalists who were known for their integrity and sensitivity. He spoke openly about his regret for the lost years, his love for Matteo, and his determination to be a good father. He presented himself not as a flawless CEO, but as a human being who had made mistakes and was striving to make amends. This strategy proved effective. The media, sensing a shift in public opinion, began to portray Julian in a more sympathetic light, focusing on his dedication to his newfound family and his efforts to balance his personal and professional life. The initial skepticism and cynicism gradually gave way to a grudging respect and even admiration for Julian's honesty and vulnerability. However, the conflict was far from over. The reporter who had disrupted the picnic, determined to salvage his reputation and score a sensational story, continued to pursue Julian and his family. He published articles that rehashed Julian's past, questioned his motives, and painted him as a manipulative businessman exploiting his son for personal gain. These articles created a new wave of controversy, threatening to undo the progress Julian had made. Investors became jittery, share prices fluctuated, and rumors of a hostile takeover began to circulate. Julian faced a renewed challenge, a test of his resilience and his commitment to his family. He could fight back, engage in a public relations battle, and defend his reputation. Or he could focus on his family, shield Matteo from the negativity, and weather the storm. He chose the latter. He realized that his priority was Matteo's well-being, not his public image or his business empire. He withdrew from the public eye, limiting his media appearances and focusing on spending quality time with Matteo and Elena. He also took steps to protect his company, implementing strategies to stabilize the share price and thwart any takeover attempts. He worked tirelessly, proving to his investors and associates that he was still the shrewd businessman they had always known, even as he embraced his role as a father. Meanwhile, Elena, witnessing Julian's unwavering commitment to Matteo and his willingness to put their family first, felt a renewed sense of love and respect for him. She saw the man he had become, a man who had learned from his mistakes, a man who prioritized love over ambition, a man who was willing to sacrifice his own comfort and reputation to protect his family. She stood by him, offering unwavering support and encouragement. She helped shield Matteo from the media frenzy, creating a safe haven for their family. She also used her own voice, speaking to the media, defending Julian's character and sharing their story of love, loss, and redemption. Together, they faced the challenges, weathering the storm with resilience and determination. They learned to rely on each other, to communicate openly, to face adversity as a united front. Matteo, observing his parents' strength and unity, felt a sense of security and belonging. He saw the love they shared, the commitment they had to each other and to him. He began to heal from the wounds of the past, embracing his new family with open arms. The conflict resolution was a gradual process, a series of small victories and quiet moments of understanding. It was a testament to their love, their resilience, and their shared commitment to their family. The takeover battle raged on, a high-stakes game of corporate chess with advanced technologies as the prize. Julian, fueled by a newfound determination to protect his company and his family, threw himself into the fight, his strategic mind working tirelessly to counter every move his rivals made. He rallied his loyal employees, painting a compelling vision of the future, reminding them of the values that had made Vance Technologies a leader in the field. He courted key investors, showcasing the company's strengths and its potential for future growth, assuring them that his commitment to innovation and sustainability remained unwavering. But the pressure was relentless. The rival company, sensing blood in the water, intensified its attacks, spreading rumors, manipulating the media, and exploiting any perceived weakness. Julian found himself working around the clock, juggling board meetings, investor calls, and media interviews, all while trying to maintain a semblance of normalcy for Matteo and Elena. The strain was beginning to show. Julian's temper shortened. His patience wore thin, and the lines between his work life and his family life blurred. He found himself snapping at Elena, neglecting Matteo, and retreating into the familiar comfort of his workaholic tendencies. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Julian returned home to find Elena and Matteo waiting for him, their faces etched with concern. Matteo, sensing his father's exhaustion and frustration, approached him hesitantly. "Dad," he said, his voice soft but firm, "you're working too much. You're not spending time with us anymore." Julian's heart sank. He looked at Elena, her eyes filled with a mixture of love and worry, and he realized that Matteo was right. He had allowed the takeover battle to consume him, neglecting the very people he was fighting to protect. In that moment, Julian made a decision. He knelt down in front of Matteo, his gaze meeting his son's. "You're right, Matteo," he said, his voice filled with remorse. "I've been so focused on the company that I've forgotten what's truly important. I promise to do better." He embraced Matteo, holding him close, and then turned to Elena, taking her hand in his. "I love you both," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "and I won't let anything come between us, not even this takeover." From that moment on, Julian shifted his focus. He delegated more responsibilities at work, freeing up time for his family. He made a conscious effort to be present in Matteo's life, attending his soccer games, helping him with his homework, and simply spending time together, talking, laughing, and connecting. He also involved Matteo in the takeover battle, explaining the challenges and the strategies, sharing his passion for innovation and his vision for the future. He saw in Matteo a spark of his own entrepreneurial spirit, a potential that he wanted to nurture. The takeover battle became a family affair, with Elena offering her unwavering support and Matteo becoming Julian's biggest cheerleader. They worked together, facing the challenges head-on, united in their determination to protect their family and their future. This shift in perspective proved to be a turning point. Julian, fueled by the love and support of his family, found a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. He approached the takeover battle with a fresh perspective, his strategic mind sharpened. By his emotional connection to the stakes, he was no longer just fighting for his company. He was fighting for his family, for the future he was building with Elena and Matteo. The takeover battle, though a stressful and demanding period, had an unexpected silver lining. It brought Julian, Elena, and Matteo closer than ever. Facing a common enemy, they learned to rely on each other, to communicate openly and honestly, and to face adversity as a united front. Julian, once a solitary figure, driven by ambition and shielded by emotional detachment, now embraced the strength and support of his family, finding solace and strength in their love. He realized that his definition of success had undergone a profound transformation. It was no longer just about wealth and power, the tangible markers of achievement that had once defined his world. It was about the love and connection he shared with his family, the intangible bonds that enriched his life and gave it meaning. He had learned to value vulnerability, to express his emotions, to shed the armor of indifference, and embrace the complexities of human connection. He had learned to prioritize the needs of others, to consider the impact of his decisions on those he loved, to be a father, a partner, a man who not only led but also nurtured and supported. This newfound awareness extended to his work as well. He recognized the importance of balance in his life, making a conscious effort to delegate responsibilities at work, creating more time for his family, for shared meals, for bedtime stories, for the simple joys of everyday life that he had once dismissed as trivial. He learned to say no to unnecessary commitments, to prioritize quality time with Matteo and Elena, to savor the moments of laughter and connection that filled their lives with warmth and meaning. Elena, witnessing Julian's transformation, felt a deep sense of gratitude and love. She saw the man he had become, a man who had shed his armor of invincibility and embraced his role as a father and partner, a man who was not afraid to show his love, to express his vulnerabilities, to prioritize his family over the demands of his empire. She saw the man she had always loved, the man who had been hidden beneath layers of ambition and insecurity, finally emerge, whole and authentic. She too had grown through this experience. She had learned to trust again, to let go of her past hurts, to open her heart to the possibility of a future filled with love and happiness. She had rediscovered her own strength and resilience, finding her voice and advocating for her family, navigating the complexities of their new reality with grace and determination. Matteo, surrounded by the love and support of his parents, blossomed. He thrived in the stability of their family unit, developing into a confident, compassionate young boy, secure in the knowledge that he was loved and cherished. He learned the value of perseverance, witnessing his parents' determination in the face of adversity, their unwavering commitment to each other and to their family. He also developed a strong sense of self, understanding that his worth was not defined by his father's wealth or social status, but by his own character and achievements. He embraced his unique identity, the son of a street-smart mother and a self-made millionaire, a testament to the power of love and resilience, a living embodiment of the unexpected paths that life can take. The experience had a profound impact on all of them. They had faced their fears, overcome their challenges, and emerged stronger and more united than ever. They had learned the true meaning of family, the importance of forgiveness, and the power of love to heal and transform, to bridge the gaps between them and create a future filled with hope and possibility. In the end, Julian successfully defended Vance Technologies, retaining control of his company and securing his legacy. But more importantly, he had gained something far more valuable: a family. He had learned that true success was not measured by wealth or power, but by the love and connection he shared with those closest to him, by the bonds that anchored him to the world and gave his life meaning. He continued to nurture his relationship with Matteo, guiding him, supporting him, and sharing his passion for knowledge and innovation. He and Elena built a life together, a life filled with love, laughter, and shared dreams, a life that defied the expectations of their past and embraced the possibilities of their future. They created a home where Matteo felt safe, loved, and cherished, a home where laughter echoed through the rooms and love filled every corner. The story of Julian, Elena, and Matteo is a testament to the power of second chances, the importance of forgiveness, and the transformative power of love. It highlights the complexities of family dynamics, the challenges of balancing ambition and personal life, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, love can prevail, heal old wounds, and create a brighter future. It encourages us to embrace our vulnerabilities, to prioritize our relationships, and to cherish the moments that truly matter. For in the end, it is the love we share and the connections we forge that define our lives and leave a lasting legacy.